Life is slowly seeing darker and darker Batman adaptations as you get older. And the latest Batman is, if not the darkest, then definitely the most emo one. I mean, Batman's theme is one of Nirvana's most emo songs. But anyways, to save you the trouble of watching the entire video, here is my verdict. The movie is really good. It is not just a good superhero movie, it is a good movie in general. It is pure Kino. Go watch it. And if you're interested in hearing my entire opinion, beware, I will be spoiling quite a lot. Ever since the Joker, DC have decided to pick a fight with the absolute juggernaut that Marvel has become, and their strategy, making actually good movies. And I'm going all in on DC. This is their third movie so far that has been absolutely a head above the other movies in the genre. I ended up seeing the movie twice, just with different friend groups, and both times I was able to enjoy it thoroughly. I actually saw it with a friend who generally hates the Marvel never-ending stream, so going in he was very skeptical. But when we were leaving the cinema he said, I really enjoyed this movie because it didn't feel like a superhero one. And I do share his sentiment. My probably only criticism towards it would be that it is quite lengthy, almost 3 hours. And even though I like the Batman, it was still quite a draining experience. The story is quite engaging. Despite it taking place 2 years after Bruce Wayne has donned on the mask of Batman, this is still an origin story. It is about how Batman transitions from a weirdo vigilante who beats people up at night to Gotham's symbol of hope. Throughout the movie we can see how the people who are helped by Batman are scared of him, and only at the end do the citizens he is aiming to protect begin to trust and rely on him. I think my point is most evident in what he calls himself. Usually Batman is associated with justice to the point that this has become somewhat of a meme about his character. But here he is not justice, he is vengeance. And I quite like that. He is not a hero of justice, but a loser with daddy issues who goes up at night to fulfill some revenge fantasy. And thus, in this story, the antagonist is very instrumental in helping the main character grow. And the Riddler was an amazing character. Paul Dano does such a brilliant job of portraying him in all of his facets. Now, admittedly, the plot has more holes than a Swiss cheese, but I think it is still quite enticing, as you don't really notice them until after the movie. And even then they aren't that annoying that it would ruin your enjoyment. What surprised me the most is that despite its gritty nature, the movie was able to make me on 2 separate occasions. And the jokes were actually quite subtle and very well written into the story. It wasn't like in Marvel where characters have to stop just to quip at each other some random nonsense. The movie also has some really amazing shots. This surprised me quite a lot because the director of the movie hasn't been known for any notable work, but I guess neither was the director of the Joker prior to making the movie. 2 moments from the movie stick out to me as really worth talking about. The first is how the main villain is introduced. It was so perfectly creepy to have him standing behind his victim, not doing anything, just hidden in plain sight. And the second is how Batman was introduced. He doesn't actually appear until somewhere around the 10th minute mark. First we get a montage of different criminals fearing the shadows because they, just like the viewer, don't know where Batman will appear from. It was a great way to convey their fear through the anticipation of the main character's reveal. The movie is also shot with a very wide aperture, which results in quite a strong depth of field, which was a unique effect. But anyways, I can keep talking about the movie for hours. Do check The Batman out. A lot of people I know enjoyed it, and some enjoyed it maybe a bit too much. Overall, I would give it 9 Ave Marias out of 10.